We're discussing Matters County now. Kisii, what's working? What is devolution doing for the people of Kisii County from an education perspective, from an agriculture perspective, from a health perspective, right? Where are the problems as well? What can we fix? And we are so glad to be surrounded by residents of Kisii County, business people, leaders, and students at Kisii University, and of course some from vocational training institutions as well. We're just speaking to Eric Ongeri, of course, who is the CECM for Education and Vocational Training, and we're discussing all those things with the audience. And I'll just begin with an open question to the room. Any changes you have noticed from devolution, good changes, things that have worked since devolution began? I'll open that up to the room. It's a very engaging conversation. If you are able to think of anything that has changed over the last 10, 15 years of devolution, what is working, what is not working? I see some thoughts already behind me. All right. We'll get the microphone just right behind this gentleman in the suit here. And you'll tell us your name. Yes, if you're a student, if you are a businessman, what it is that you do, and of course what is working for you for a devolution, from a devolution perspective. All right, let's get the microphone to the gentleman.
Thank you. My name is Adams Nabuera, popularly known as Waziri. So I'm a student, law student, second year. Devolution, the 15 years of devolution, I can say devolution is working on a scale of 1 to 10. Devolution is working at 4. The only thing that is working is ECD. When we come to agriculture, roads, devolution is not working at all. So even the conference that is ongoing at Homa Bay is just a theatric, because we understand, we at the grassroots understand that devolution is not working at all.
Oh, all right. I would like to get a little bit more insight as to the why it's not working. You've said 4 out of 10.
Yeah.
That's kwa class yunge kwa grade gani? C.
That's a D.
D.
Strong D.
Okay, just give us a bit more insight why it's not working.
First of all, devolution is not working because the stagnation has been brought by the Parliament of Kenya. We find instead of Parliament empowering counties and devolution, they're fighting for resources. We all understand the roles of Parliament to be legislation, oversight, and implementation. But in the recently, we've seen National Assembly forcing its way through a shoddy public participation to amend the constitution, to put in funds like the national government, affirmative action fund, Senate oversight fund, and the CDF. Yeah. Which is to the people that's not working. And let me tell you, these people have stagnated devolution because they've gone and conducted a public participation saying CDF is good because it's giving you bursaries. But in reality, we need to have free education. Why should we have bursaries? I've heard Mheshimiwa Eric say the county is giving out bursaries. But why should we have bursaries instead of consolidating these funds and making education free? The Auditor General halted funds from counties from giving bursaries. But we received a very negative comments from county governments. But instead of these county governments, which should be working for the people, working saying, yes, we agree with this, let's consolidate all these funds through the Ministry of Education so that we can have one fund and make education free from ECD to the university. Yeah. Another thing, when it comes to health. Health is a devolved function, but we still wonder, why do we have the Ministry of Health if health is a devolved function? Roads are devolved. We still have the Ministry of Transport. And added to the Ministry of Transport, we still have the bodies like Kenha and Kura. Apart from that, we have Ministry of Water. Yet we know water is also a devolved function. We have Guasco here, and we still wonder. That's the work that the government is working to stagnate devolution.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll ask Eric to respond to especially the question around bursaries, right? Because for healthcare, healthcare is devolved except for now, level 6s. There's emergency and critical things that require level 6 hospitals. Those are still functions of the national government. For roads as well, there are roads that do fall under the national government, Kenha, Kura, etc. But I do get what you mean. As far as especially the bursary issue is concerned, why not just consolidate all these funds, have education from ECD all the way to university, vocational training and tertiary institutions be free? I think that's a great question. But counties, I don't know if they want to hear that or they're happy with that. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Adams, for that question. I want to put the record straight on bursaries in counties. As counties, we are not given money from national government to give bursaries, as it is with CDF and GAF. It is a county that saves from other sectors. Like I said, we have reduced wastage. For example, I go out of the county once in 3 months or 5 months when it is necessary. But there were times when a minister like myself could be out of the county everywhere, in Dubai, in the US and all that. The governor said we can't have luxury when children are not going to school. Therefore, those areas we did not, spend much money, which we call wastage, that is the money we save to have this bursary kit. But we are not given money from national government to give bursary. Even if they wanted to consolidate the bursaries, they cannot consolidate for counties. And again, not all 47 counties are giving bursaries.
Right.
Only those that have saved some money and they are saving their people to go to school.
That's true. I wish we had someone from national government here, because we could speak to, again, why not consolidate all these funds and offer free education across the board? Because the idea of a bursary really does help a lot of people. Yes, that's fair. But then again, you shouldn't have to be in a position to ask for, apply for. It should just be free. You go to school, you go home, you do your exams, you go to the next level of education. So I think it would be nice to interrogate that with someone from national government. But thank you for also clarifying that. I'd also feel that counties now have the pressure to have bursaries of their own, because you're seen as doing, as giving, right, Jano?
Yeah, absolutely. And it goes back to what we've talked about before. Do people also understand the mandate of the country, that it's not about launching a new road or building a hospital or launching a school or giving fees. But as long as that's not seamless and understood, then the expectations will be different. I know we'll keep circling back to education because it's so critical. I want to pivot slightly related to the public participation element. I just want to hear from anybody here whether you feel like when the county government is saying, we want to get your views on something, kujeni tuongee, then when you go to the table, you feel like your voices are heard. Or whether, and that's exactly what the CCM has said, or whether you just feel like, nope, when it comes to the county government, when it comes to devolution, they make the decisions and all we get is feedback. So anybody who can speak to public participation, is it working? Is it sufficient? If it's not, what needs to happen so that young people feel that they're not on the menu, they're on the table? So anybody can speak to the public participation question. Anybody? Somebody over there? Just again, just tell us your name and just what your thoughts are.
I'm Emmanuel Juma. I'm a second year here in Kisii University. For me personally, I think public participation is not working. Bringing a point where us Gen Zs, we were against the financial bill 2023-2024. People were dying in the streets, yet the government, the media, and everyone was watching. And it's totally sad that we are still sitting here talking about public participation when every Kenyan was against the 2023-2024 financial bill, yet it passed. So there's no voice.
You don't feel like your voices matter in the bigger conversation?
Yes, madam. Anybody
else feel the same? Oh, there's a few hands on this side.
And I'll also ask from a county perspective as well. You're right about that. It was actually the 2024-2025 finance bill. It was very clear that no one wanted the bill. Fine. But then I'm thinking from a county perspective, has that been rectified? Does it look the same? Does it look different? But yeah, let's hear from
Thank you very much. My good name is Ivy Delphine Achengomolo. I'm a law student, currently awaiting my graduation. So this is quite...
Congratulations, almost.
Yeah, sure, thank you. So public participation is quite a crucial component. It is enshrined in our constitution by the mere fact that according to Article 1 of the Constitution, the citizens are the sovereign power of the country. But more often than not, we see that public participation in a nutshell is only considered as a reactive crisis management solution rather than a proactive solution, because it is quite evident. We saw it in the streets. We had our youths, people young as me, we were in the streets airing our honest opinions, telling you that this thing is really not working to the best interest of we as the citizens. But what happened is, after several fights appearing in the streets and our lives being killed, and sadly our leaders really didn't care much, as if, shedding blood, gives them any sort of advantage. But it's only after it was so much of it that it was not bearable that the president himself decided to now quash the finance bill. So to a large extent, our voices are only heard to manage the crises that have been seen, as opposed to being considered as the first hand, considering our views to put it into practical implementation, to have our voices being seen. So to a large extent in the country, still public participation has not been felt. Yeah. And I love what the members of the fourth estate, the media, is doing. You're really taking the voices of the youths into consideration. We see you on every Friday. So you're giving us, the youth, a chance to give our voices. I can tell you for free, if the state or if the executive branch of the government learned from you, and then they will have learned from the best, because they will also give us chances. Let us be in these discussion tables. We want you to feel our presence. I can tell you for sure, this is a generation that has grown with knowledge at its own disposal. So it means we have so much ideas we could give you that could help us shape our country. Yeah. Devolution came after 2013, out of the ethical divisions. And
I just want to ask you, Ivy, just before you hand the microphone on to somebody else.
Yes.
He's talked about, but we either say it on, I don't know, did you mention, I know in other countries they talk about radio and newspapers. If you want proactive public participation, if you want that, Ivy and Emmanuel and everybody, what does that look like for you? How do people need to come to you? Through what channels and through what ways? Will it make it feel like, actually, they came to me where I am and my voice was able to be heard? What does it look like for you, public participation?
That is quite a very good question. So public participation will entail this Kisii University should be considered as a specific or separate constituency that can be called. We have the students being called to the governor's office, our decisions being, or rather our views being asked about how to implement our ideas. Let me tell you a good suggestion I have. We have the government offering bursaries, but still they only pay a small portion, and then the students are left to battle with the larger portion of it, which extends to students now having to drop out. But think of this: if you spotted a few students here and there who are unable to pay the whole fees, and then fully sponsor them, this will lead to a high return on investment, because later these students can give back to the society and help you teach some more students. So we feel like we have our student representatives in the institution. We can always have them being called by the county government, and the views of the comrades being heard firsthand from a sample of us.
All right, that's a great idea actually, and it boils down again to like that cluster type of public participation from Homa Bay. Yeah, which is because you may not be able to get everybody at the baraza or even 1,000 people at the baraza. But if you go to key institutions that are representative of the community, so you have student representatives from across the country and and every educational institution. Then of course you have a few people from business representing as well. Then you have some from civil society, you have some from a few chamas, you have some, from agriculture, the farmers, representatives basically, so that everyone is seen. Because I think sometimes when you call for public participation, no one thinks of themselves as the public. That's unless true. You see something that directly impacts you. When they say when something is everyone's responsibility, it becomes no one's responsibility.
That's a good point. It doesn't feel personal.
It doesn't feel.
It feels like you're locked out. Yeah.
I want to know though, from the audience, because we also have to take responsibility. Anyone here who's participated in public participation for any county bill, proposal, something of the sort? Hands up. All right. Got one here. All right. So, yes, I know a lot of us are students and we may be from outside the county, but still would be nice to see a lot more hands go up. I also try to figure out what the gap is. Has anyone heard of a call for public participation? All right. Except, okay. So then that speaks to how the information is being disseminated. Would anyone like to go? Like if something was being debated at the county assembly that interested you, would you like to go for public participation? Hands up.
Oh.
All right. So
you'd like to go, but you haven't heard the call. Or they say it in a way that you're like, Sijiwana. What are they calling us for exactly?
Yeah. So, Eric, I think there's a gap there, clearly.
Very well, very well. I think maybe it's not that there is no call. That is for sure. Because public participation is announced in local radio stations. It's announced in barazas and all that. Maybe at that specific moment, maybe the comrades could be in school or anywhere else. But I don't think we do it secretly. But we will improve. We will improve. And as that gentleman said, maybe student leadership from universities in Kisii can be asked to also attend, especially when we have 1 year at ATC, because normally we have one. For Nyaribari Chache, our public participation happens at ATC here. We'll also consider inviting them to that conversation.
Or channels that appeal to them. What would make sense for you? Where can somebody reach you to invite you for public participation? Is social media an option? What makes sense for you? Anybody? Because a lot of you put up your hands to say if we were called, we would go. He's saying, but we do call. We say it on the local radio station. Tunatangaza. Aya. So where do they need to?
Yeah. Napatikana wapi?
There's a few hands back there.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's get the microphone.
And there's somebody there as well. Just
all right. We can start from that side, and then we'll move on to this one.
Hello, I'm Anne Kemunto Marigo, a law student from Kisii University, and good morning, Kenya. One thing, we should know that we're already technologized. We all have technology, and you've already said about radio stations. Personally, I don't listen to radio stations. I always go to X, maybe the famous social media pages. When we actually get the response or actually the call from that, it will actually be much more efficient. Because I personally, as a Gen Z, I don't take radio stations. So, of course, when we get the call from X, from our social media pages, our school itself, right now we have education. And so we'll reach out to a lot of people compared to the radio station and the local people. We'll actually be more informed and we'll feel more informed, in a way. Yeah, so I will really suggest that technology should be used as you are getting the call, and I'm very sure it will be more responsive compared to radio stations, personally.
So use all channels. Is that something you can look into? Radio, newspaper, but also social media as a way to reach more people, I think.
I know there was a few more hands up. Yes, let's hear from that gentleman.
Yes, a very good morning to all of you. I'm Udhiambo Godwill. I want to tackle this issue on. I'm a legal student. I am a finalist. I want to tackle this
Please
issue
put
on
the mic a bit closer to yes.
Okay. I want to tackle this issue on public participation. Now, at times, I'm saddened when the sham exercise is taking place. Now, for example, the county government has admitted that they bring calls for public participation. And as the able lady said, the issue we are having is you go to a radio station. Now, as a Gen Z, there is this problem that I'm having. You go to a radio station. Kisii town, for example, is a metropolitan. So you go to a radio station. The radio station broadcasts in a local language. One thing that is for sure, I'm not going to understand anything. And then, apart from that, apart from the issue on language, now the issue on time, as we are saying, we are students. Now you put a public participation exercise on a weekday. I'll be in my classes. I'll be studying. What about rescheduling it to on weekends when people are free? Because the other time I heard that people were having participations on a weekday. It is just a matter of we not kidding ourselves and being practical and real with the schedules in life. Yeah.
Thank you. Well said. We still have so many matters to get through, whether it's education, agriculture, employment. But this is a microground in Kisii University, speaking to especially young voices, just to understand whether devolution is reaching them. They've already talked about public participation not really being something that is proactive, but rather reactive, and not using channels that integrate them. But we'll move on to some other issues that are pertinent for this side of the country. You can use our digital platforms to talk to us and ask your questions. But it's coming up to 8:30. We'll be back in just a moment.
Easy as that. We are at Kisii University, Tukonyaribari Chache constituency, doing a microground with the people of Kisii. What's working, okay? What can we make work even better? How can we make sure that Kisii is bigger than it has ever been from an education perspective, an economic perspective, a healthcare perspective, all through, right? Also, what's not working and how can we fix it? Just when we were going into the break, the issue of public participation was a heated one. Questions around what constitutes public participation. How do we reach the people that need to be reached? And I know we have here Eric Ongeri, of course, who is the CEC Education and Vocational Training, talking about what exactly, helping us get a bit more insight into how the county government does things. But we also have the residents of Kisii and students from Kisii University telling us, if you want to reach me, I am a student. So unless you're doing it on a weekend or perhaps after class hours, kunipata ni ngumu. Or if you want to reach me, nipate X, nipate TikTok, nipate Instagram. Kunipata kwa radio and saying there's a public participation call might be a little bit different. But just before we go into other matters, wanted to hear from those in civil society as well. As far as public participation is concerned, Gladys, I think, had mentioned that she has participated at least. To Wewe Umenda, where do you get these calls? And would you say that when you see public participation at the county assembly, it's substantive and that it feels representative of the people of Kisii?
Thank you. My name's Gladys Ayega. I'm a civic educator. I have worked with several organizations doing civic education in Kisii and Nyamira County. I can say public participation is normally called in Kisii. It doesn't work well because it doesn't involve all the stakeholders. Critical stakeholders are not involved. Mobilization of people to attend the public participation events, apart from being in print media and local radio programs, political leaders, the elected leaders of our county, are the ones who mobilize members to attend. So if I'm an incumbent and I'm the one mobilizing people, then Waziri definitely I will bring people who support what I want. But when we talk about public participation, we should hear the views of the citizenry. It should be open-minded. That one has limited people to effectively voice themselves so that they can be, once they are not heard, they cannot be put in budget. That's why you're getting citizens raising alarms when you're implementing projects, which they were not involved from the beginning. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we also have Bunge la Wananchi here?
Sorry? Yes, we do have Bunge la Wananchi here.
Okay.
Yeah, let's hear from them as well. Public participation, is she right? Or do you agree with the calls? And as a member of Bunge la Wananchi, how come you haven't participated?
Thank you very much for this opportunity. Kwa majina naitwa Henry Osoro Manoti. Mimi ndio chairman wa Bunge la Mwananchi Kisii. Jambo la public participation inakuanga tamu mukiongea kwa maredio, kwa makaratasi, lakini kwa ground naita ni scam. Why? Hiyo public participation inasemwa mukienda pale wanakuwa ni watu wa mobilized. Waende kusema vile wenye wanataka. Ukienda pale wewe uko na maoni yako, haifanyi kazi. Kama utapata nafasi uongee, hiyo view yako haifanyi kazi. Maana wao wanakuja na mambo yao, wanakuja tu ili muonekane ya kwamba mpate picha ya kwamba walifanya public participation. Lakini kwa ukweli ndani yake maoni yenu hayana kazi. Maana wao wako na mpango yao na michoro yao. Number 2, wakati wanafanya matangazo, mimi sana mimi niko kwa ground. Mimi ni mzee, mimi sio kijana. Mimi ni mzee, ninakaa hapa mtaani hapa. Nategea radio sote za kienyeji. Mimi naona public participation kwa newspaper ambayo mwananchi wa Kisii wa ukweli wenye wanasoma ni wachache sana newspapers. Wamama wanategemea radio ya Kisii. For example, mimi nimetoka upande wa Bonchari, Bumariba, ward kichichi kinaitwa Entanke. Juzi wakati walikuwa wanatangaza Kisii County, walikuwa wanatangaza ufanisi wa county ndani ya Kisii County. Kuna dispensary mali nimetoka ya kwetu inaitwa Entange dispensary. Mama mmoja akakuwa pingi hired akasema iko na maternity ambayo ni dispensary ya kawaida, haina kitu kama hicho. Sasa paka wananchi wakasema hii ni Entange nyingine ama ni hii ya kwetu. So mimi naita public participation kama ni scam ya kumobilize watu pamoja, wako hired wapeane maoni ambayo wamewekewa ndani yao. Pali sio maoni ya wananchi. Mukipeana kama wananchi hayafanyi kazi. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Let me go over to Eric. I think you've heard from the people of Kisii as far as making sure that public participation is inclusive, that it works, that it's honest, that it reaches people. Yeah, what are your thoughts?
Thank you once again. I will begin by saying that we need to sensitize our people on what public participation entails. That should be the first entity, because when you say that public participation, people are told what to speak to. We are doing public participation on budget making process, for instance. We've come to Yaribari Church and people are saying, we want you to do road X to Y. You can't put really on their mind that road, because that road exists there. They want water to be done in place X. You can't do that water in place Y. So it depends on what this public participation is about. That's number one. But on the issue of mobilization, I have not had a case where people have gone to attend public participation and they have been locked out because they were not mobilized by a politician. If that has happened, then I can be informed now. Because public participation is not for select few.
Right. But are some people let in after being mobilized by a politician? Yeah, maybe perhaps no one is being locked out, but there are also those who have been mobilized by politicians to push a specific agenda.
That's why I really don't understand which this agenda this politician will be having that interest on, that the public will not dispute. Of course, I do not attend all public participations, but I've attended a few, right? And not all views that will be given in a public participation exercise will be incorporated, right?
Okay. Still, the question of then, I don't want to linger too much on public participation, but there's clearly a problem there, because if then the people don't feel that it's inclusive and that they're being heard, then that kind of renders the process, you know.
Yeah, what I can say, void. And I can agree with, is now involvement of all stakeholders, such that it is not a specific group that is attending and other groups are not attending, as Madam said. All stakeholders to be included.
What about finding people where they are? Radio stations are fantastic, but they're clearly not reaching everyone, and people have spoken to where you can find them, whether it's online, whether it's on weekends.
I have picked what the Gen Zs have talked about in the platforms where they can be found. That one I picked it. But again, as the public, what I can give you is confidence that your views will be taken into consideration in that public participation. And at that time, we will be implementing that project that you did not, discuss in your public participation. And then at that time, you also have a right to ask.
Right.
Yeah.
And again, I don't want to stay here too much on the public participation issue, but I do really think it's something to look into, because as you said, their views will be heard, but then there has to be a platform to hear those views.
Right. Otherwise it's ineffective. To your point, I know I can see a few hands. Keep the question and point you want to make. I just wanted to see if we could also speak just briefly to human rights, because I think having, whether it's Bunga la Wananchi or other people who, I want to understand the status of human rights in Kisii, haki za binadamu, whether ni wanawake, youth, whether you feel like the status of human rights in Kisii, where would you rate it? Is there still a very big gap with people feeling like I have access to my rights? Or do you think that there's some progress? Maybe you can speak to that a bit as we move on to other issues. So I don't know whether, you can speak to.
Thank you. On the status of human rights in Kisii and status of human rights as in devolution. Before devolution, the government raised a platform that human rights organizations and civil community-based organizations were up everywhere to ensure the devolved function came. It was a good thing. It was a very good thing. But even if you go today to Homa Bay County, where the devolution conference is there a stand where human rights organizations are reporting on the progress of devolution? Currently in Kenya, we have seen people speak openly, because most people are agitated, there is poor representation. The issue is they are not receiving feedback. There is a problem, but when the problem is handled, people in this county are feeling that they are not well represented, just because there is no feedback. the arms of government that are supposed to protect the citizenry. They are the ones, again, that have been used. And lives have been lost. So currently, when you are seeing the uprising of our daughters and sons, the Gen Zs, they have very good reasons why they are doing whatever they are doing. What they are lacking is who to hear and who to bring feedback to them. So generally, as a nation, with devolution, the human rights violations are going up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for speaking to that.
Almost devolved injustice.
Yes.
And I want to put a pin in that conversation just because when we deal with matters youth, I want to go into education and human rights and kind of bundle them together. But I wanted to speak to some of the representatives from the business community that are also in the building, just because we haven't touched on it, and I know we'll get back to that because it's absolutely pertinent. But we have representatives as well from the Bananas Farmers Cooperative, and I wanted to speak to, again, the issue of value addition, the issue of a competitive business environment, or just an enabling business environment. Steve, yes, is right here. Please tell us, devolution for farmers, banana farmers specifically, is it working? Where is it working? Where could we use some help?
Good morning. My name is Stephen Mayeka from Jefferson Banana Farmers Cooperative. Alluding to what you started with on Banana Valley Addition, we as business have gone into different aspects of Banana Valley Addition.
Please hold it closer to your...
Sorry. We've gone into various aspects of Banana Valley Addition. Not only in avocado, but say in bananas, we've done things that are like banana braids. We've started that. Banana wine, braids. Yeah, hair pieces, yes. Yes. Banana wine, banana vinegar, flour, which is the normal. Because what we realized is in, as bananas, there's post-harvest losses. I think we've got 40 to 50%, actually higher, post-harvest losses. So what we've taken into consideration is what can we do with the rest of the banana stem. So as you said, we are based in ATCA in Kiridi. We do the banana crisps, but now we've gone into what we call extraction of fiber. And out of that fiber, that's where we got into the braids and into all of that. Now, the challenges that we have from a county perspective is, yes, those aspects, it's an industry we are building on, but assistance in equipment and all that. Because what we're trying to drive is to build that industry to harness the youth. And most of the people who work for us are actually probably average age of 21 to 24. So we are harnessing the youth. We're extracting from the farmers is what we're getting the waste. So what we're trying to tie in is the circular economy. The linkages from the farmer to the CBOs and other groups to the youth who we are using in our processing facilities. And then also, actually, part of the linkages is also on the transportation side. So we're harnessing our borders to do that, the picking up of the material from the farmers to the collection centers to the processing sites. So in all those linkages, assistance from a county government will help us in that respect. But answering on the value addition, the industrialization aspect of it, we've gone quite far. So assistance in that respect will greatly help. Yes.
You'd also asked about whether there's an enabling environment. I don't know whether that was sufficiently...
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know if you've spoken to that actually, but yes, you've given us insight into where the county government has come in, where you need assistance. Yeah, would there be anything that could be done to create a more enabling environment for your business and that of banana farmers and farmers across Kisii?
I think one of the aspects is, which is a bit of a critical one, is policy development. I think we find a lot of brokers come into the county and take, like you alluded to earlier on, take the banana as the fruit itself. If we can do value addition within the county, you'll find it creates a circular economy where the money circulates in the economy. There's value addition from the product, which enhances the value that the material leaves the county with. So there's revenue generation within the county based on the value addition of the product that is a natural resource within the county. Yes. Yes, how we do the banana braids is there's something called the pseudostem, which is the stem of the banana. We then extract the fiber from the banana, and then that is then used. We then process it to do banana braids. We've actually been on one of your stations, on local stations, and actually been on CNN, showing that the product internationally. So it's showing that we can actually generate revenue from our natural resources within the county. And it's the hair industry is a massive industry to get into, and it's a big generator. It couldn't be a big generator for the county. Apart from that, there are other products. Like I said, we do wine, we do vinegar, the normal handicrafts. We do disposable plates, like for your javas. We do carrier bags. So the banana sector, the banana fruit has a lot of things that can bring in revenue for the county. Yeah, thank you.
No, I'm just learning a lot.
Yep.
I think next braids should be banana braids, Jano, for sure.
We should. We'll do them uniform. We come and say this is banana braids.
And I'm thinking through, when you peel a banana and then you take off like the...
Yeah, you keep it.
Those are what go into the braid. Oh, it's the stem, you said. Yes, the stem. Okay. In my head, I was like, what if it's those things that we peel off? Right. But it's good to know that there's a lot being done as far as value addition is concerned. But like Steve has said as well, there's more that can be done. Any other business people who want to speak to the business environment, whether you're an online business in school or you're in, agriculture or something or other? Any other business owners or entrepreneurs? All right. Okay. I think we can wrap up the... We're getting there. We're getting there. Hopefully in the next few years, we'll have you guys on and you'll be the business owners. But I wanted to go into the education issues. We just have a few minutes before the break, though.
Right.
Before we go into now education, just to close off from a business perspective, I'll ask Eric, aside from the value addition, also, is there expansion into other industries? Because agriculture is very much the foundation of Kisii. What else is being done to encourage other economic activity within the county?
Yeah, very well. As I had said earlier, we do not have only a banana factory. We also have avocado factory here at ATC. And there are also a number of products that are coming out of that. But as you've asked, whether we need to have other factories, remember I said we have soapstone that the government is engaging to see whether we can have an investor who will again venture into that sector to make those farmers make more money. Yeah.
All right. Curious to hear from the young people in the room. What opportunities do you see for business in Kisii? Even if you've not ventured into it, somewhere where you think you can be making money, that's not necessarily agriculture. I'm seeing the wheels turning. Anyone looking into any business venture? Something that you think could be potentially very lucrative? You could make good money out of it.
My name is Suleiman Moindi. I'm doing law. A business that I think could be really lucrative is something to do with fumigation and cleaning, because basically we have hostels that students stay in. We also have offices in town that could be really a source of income. So if I can get funding and buy the necessary equipment, I can be able to tap into those opportunities. Thank you.
Let's hang on to that idea, actually, because you've identified a need coming probably from your own experience, right? And then you didn't know who to go to for fumigation, right? Something that's affordable, that's also safe, and then is accessible. I love that idea. Fumigation, especially around a hostel area, I think you'd make a lot of money. Around offices as well. Yes, kill the roaches, make money. All right, we'll go on a short break for now, but we'll be right back. Hashtag is Fixing the Nation NTV. We are on ground at Kisii University. When we come back, we'll be discussing matters, education, and more. But for now, we'll go on a short break. Continues.
Right, absolutely. We still also have Inset, the CECM of Education and Vocational Training. Eric Ongeri will get his reactions to some of the conversations that we continue to have. We'll also certainly just be delving into the education model and vocational as well. But Mariam and I wanted to turn to the room and get some of your feedback. University students, there's unique challenges. Maybe some are unique to Kisii. Others are just unique to students in general. So what we'll do is maybe list a few. And if you agree that this is a challenge that exists on the Kisii County or campus, you raise your hand. It may not be something that affects you directly, but it's something that you know affects. Hands are already going up. Hiya.
Let me
They're
start
just like, yeah. So maybe if there's already something in mind, but the idea is we're just trying to unpack, because you are stakeholders, but you're also students. And I know that can sometimes feel like pressure, but it also means that you have the fix. So what is standing in the gap of that fix? So I don't know whether we're listing, because somebody's already like...
I feel like we start with the list.
We start with the list and then get the reactions.
We can try and get the reactions, right?
Right.
Gentleman, your hand went up. Yes?
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. My name is Anthony Oduor, a student leader here in Kisii University. I'm pursuing Bachelor of Education Special Needs. So I have 3 questions that I want to share out with CS of Kisii County, Eric. So firstly, what are the mechanisms put in place to ensure accessibility for marginalized children, because the CS have talked about the ECD. So maybe what are those mechanisms that you had put in place for those students who are marginalized? Maybe e.g. for children with disabilities, maybe children that come from a poor background. Then secondly, on the issue of bursaries, you have just mentioned that during the capitation, those training, vocational training, you do capitation for each and every student. What are those? What if those things that you are working on, those students who are studying in vocational training, we imply or implement to the university students? Because university students right now, we are the citizen of Kisii County. So what are those implementations that maybe you are putting in place to at least to support our comrades here?
All right.
Then thirdly, I'm too curious to know how much is being paid for ECD students. ECD teachers are being paid depending on the level of studies, or are being paid, the level of payment is just equal? Because here in Kisii University, there are some of the students who are pursuing Bachelor of Education in ECD. So can you compare maybe the amount that is being paid with someone who has a diploma in that area or a degree in that area? Okay, those are my questions. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. I think we'll put a pin in the questions that are directed to Waziri, because we wanted this session to be just a little bit more interactive within, right, to figure out what's working for comrades, right, at Kisii University and across other vocational training institutions in the county. But I do think those are great questions, and I think Waziri will be in a position to answer them towards the end. But thank you so much, and they're very well informed as well as a student leader. Yes. So let me have the microphone so we can have a few more people who had lifted their hands. So we want to hear challenges that are specifically facing you guys, and then we'll get to the fixes, okay? It's not one-sided. All right, let me start there. No, actually someone who hasn't spoken. So there, and then we'll go back. And please be brief because we do not have that much time.
Yeah. Yes, thank you very much. My name is Kelvin Ombati. I'm a law student. The biggest challenge affecting comrades in Kisii University is the issue of accommodation. We have very few hostels, but now around schools, the landlords who own houses, the rent is too high for comrades. You find a very poor house made of mabati, no water, the rent is 5,000. I think, Waziri, you can liaise with the county government and even with this university and the vice chancellor, because I think you can be very helpful in that sector. Talk to them so that all tenants who are all landlords who are around the areas in Kisii University, students are really suffering on issues of rent. It even forces comrades to stay up to 4 people in one room because they are unable to raise rent for their houses. You find that even a house that has been built with a good bed sitter, you find that the rent is 8,000 because we have very few houses, we have very few hostels, so they take that advantage that students are very many and they hike the rents above the need that our parents can raise. So that is one of the biggest challenge, I think.
Thank you so much. Let's go to this gentleman. And I'll reiterate, guys, these questions are not so much for the county. They can be, of course, issues that can be given to county, but in general, life challenges as well as governance challenges. So we're not closing the door on those, but we just want to open the conversation up a bit more broadly to issues that may not be governance necessarily, but still affect comrades. All right? Sawa.
Okay, thank you. My name is Ronnie Kahigakanyi. I'm a student at Kisii University pursuing education. My question goes to the county. You said that the roads of the village belong to you. In Kisii University, you are facing a challenge whereby we are having poor road conditions, such as that one in Kisumundogo, Nyamage, and others. Recently, you have been using the graders to ensure that the roads are in good condition. But it is just making it worse, because now, kila pahali on those roads, kuna matope. What about if you improve and use other machines, like the graders, which can make the roads to be in a good condition? I think you can improve on that. And insisting on the point on accommodation. It was in the year 2024, whereby the governor of Kisii and that time the CS of Education, Machogu, came in this institution and said that they are going to be building for us what? It was what? Horses. And up to now, I have not seen anything being done.
Okay.
Insisting on that, yes, there's public participation, but after us raising that point of accommodation, up to now, nothing is being done. Only promises being given to comrades. Until when? My 4 years, I'm going to complete my 4 years in the year 2026. And the promise was given on 2024. So are we going to live on just promises, or is there action going to be taken? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's have 2 more there and then try and find fixes for those before we move on. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
Please hold the microphone. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm Sebastian. I'm a third-year law student here at Kisii University. Okay, the greatest challenge that we also face as students here in Kisii University is the challenge of insecurity. Yeah, we have, as the minister said, we have categories of roads. That is the county roads and the national government roads. And here at the county level, we have some interior roads here within Nyaribari Chache, such as he has mentioned, the roads, the interior ones. We have those roads, they are poor, and then they lack security lights. You know, Kisii University is one of the universities in the country that receives the highest number of students. And therefore, any place where we have many people, of course there will tend to be insecurity. So insecurity is a great challenge in Kisii University. Then again, the problem of school fee. Recently, the government said or ordered that school fee to be reduced by, I think, about 40%. I'm not so sure. But what's the mechanism that this government is putting in place to ensure that this directive to the universities is properly implemented and the universities follow these directives? Yeah, that's
okay. All right. That may be more from a national government perspective. But it's still a fair question to ask because, yeah, the directive is from national government. It is to universities. So I think that may be more for them. But thank you so much. We'll talk about the insecurity issue. Just before we close, I think this gentleman, yeah, I skipped him, Pole. Let's hear from him. And then we try find fixes for some of the issues that have come up.
Thank you very much. Good morning. My name is Samuel Baraza. I am a law student, finalist, and the congressperson of the School of Law. I have a few observations to make, especially about the discussion today being devolution. Then I'll give the challenges. I'm asking myself whether the question of devolution should be an issue of favors from the executive, or it should be an issue to actually be deliberated on its implementation side, because thinking about it, it is a constitutional obligation. And speaking about financing, we've seen the president has signed the amendment bill, and it's sounding like a favor to the counties, but I'm asking myself, this is a constitutional obligation. These are things that should have been done long time ago, and devolution has to be implemented. So let us not look at devolution as a favor or something that should be downplayed. Okay, now to my concerns. The first, I've been actually trying to see how I'll bring in the new funding model into the discussion today, being a discourse about devolution and county governments, now that universities are not for county governments. But I think I'll bring it up now that it's an open conversation. The question on whether actually the new funding model is working for comrades at Kisii University is neither here nor there. In as much as what is out there is that Kisii University is comfortable with the new funding model. But I think students are still struggling with the new funding model, especially in the question of discrimination. We're talking about Article 27 of the Constitution, freedom from discrimination. And you see, the new funding model is sort of discriminating some students on the basis of where they come from or whatever. And that begs the question on whether education and the entitlement of education from the government is a question of equity or equality. Should we have education rolled out for all students as it were, or the new funding model is a better way to go about it? If you ask me, I think we are not going with the new funding model as comrades. I wonder what is the sophistication about funding education with the government. Let us just be clear and stop
going about the bush. Okay. One more just in the interest of time.
Yeah, the last one. Yeah. On roads, we had a conversation with Waziri here. There's a time we wanted actually to march in the streets as the comrades and actually protest on the issue of roads around here. And they actually gave us a way forward. They told us they have an MOU with, I think, World Bank, and they are working on the Kisumundogo Road. I just wanted, at this point now that I've found a nationwide platform for this promise to be made publicly, I want to know what you're promising the comrades of Kisii University about the roads around. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Thank you for coming to Kisii University.
Thank you. And I know, Eric, that's quite a number of questions to respond to, but I think we also just wanted to start by, as Mariam said, trying to get the fix. It's interesting that according to a research paper, even before we asked what the challenges are, they mentioned overcrowded accommodation, that came up. Limited job market, high cost of living, mental health. Those came up as some of the unique challenges here, and it sounds like there's some that are actually in sync with that. Now, based on the fact that we've heard these, do we now, first of all, this side of the room has been a little bit quiet. We'd really love to invite your voices or views. So what is this? Is this trying to get views from them on how to fix it? I suppose, right? Yeah.
I feel like it's a good place to start for sure. I know there's quite a number of questions for Eric, and he'll be in a position to answer. Some of them are also national government issues, and it's good to have the distinction. But then even as we, pose the problems, I think it's also good to try and now
Get a solution.
Yeah, get the solutions. But there's one of the 4 that you've mentioned that hasn't come up from this room. Is mental health a challenge for anyone here?
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean on a personal perspective, but do you see it as a challenge facing young people in the country, in the county, and at Kisii University? Mental health? Yeah?
You
okay,
do?
let me give you the mic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm Mano Ian. I'm a 4th-year medical student. And, probably just to say, my issue is academic. The challenge that I want to talk about is academic challenge. And basically, I think almost 90% of university students suffer mental health aspects related to academics. And one of the major challenges is about follow-up of marks. You are done with the unit. You don't know really what happened in between there, between the lecturer and the department and the uploading of the marks. Then you find that you do not have these marks. Other than the marks, there are issues that are majorly these courses that are regulated by council or regulatory bodies. There are major issues that do not really come out clearly until you are towards the end of your study, you are towards the final year. Then you realize that there are things that are going to hinder you from moving forward, even if you are from your campus. And for a good example is the current issue with the nursing students who have been revoked from internship. These people, they did their part, everything that they ought to have done, and at the end, when they are coming to realize that they are not going to be graduating, they are out of the graduation list, and the reasons that are being given, they're just basic reasons that they could have been worked out as early as possible. So to me, I think one of the suggestions I can make is that majorly these courses that are being regulated by council or regulatory bodies, these bodies ought to be visiting universities to ensure that everything is at par as it should be by that period, so that when we get towards the end, everything is in order. And, I must congratulate the university for the efforts putting into place to ensure that it's doing away with the aspect of missing marks, but it is still hectic. So if a model can be structured to help students and in collaboration with the lecturers and the departments to ensure that this issue is dealt with once and for all, so that as you move forward, you're moving forward knowing that everything is in order and there's nothing that's going to draw you back from where you already passed from.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's a great point. You've mentioned that a lot of the mental health struggles come around from academic pressures, and you've given those. The accreditation issue, again, it's a national government as well as the accreditations board. There's so many other people involved in that, so we may not be able to answer. But what would your fix be? Should there be somewhere where I can check that that this institution is accredited to give this course? Yeah.
I think I'll mention in response to that, I'm also the Secretary General of the Kenya Clinical Medicine Students Association.
Kenya
Clinical Medicine Students Association. It's called CLIMSACE. And one thing that I'm realizing is that most of private universities are offering courses beyond what's being regulated on. And the regulatory bodies are also not looking into that very critically. And it's one of the things that is impairing the training. And basically now let me just talk about healthcare. It's one of the things that is really impairing the training in healthcare, because you find that a university is admitting beyond what the number that has been regulated for them. And this brings the backlog in internship. You find that students, we have to probably protest to force the government to post us, because we can't proceed without that. Another aspect is that probably some probably go with that. Some university go with the recommended number, but along the line in the training, there are some hiccups that they fail to ensure that they work on. So on the training, you find that there are some things that are not really worked on clearly. I'll give an example that for say clinical medicine, you have to go forward using a pass list. Once you are done with your final year, after the 3rd semester, a pass list after the exam, the final year exam, a pass list comes out. There are those that they have not qualified to go to the next class. But most of the institutions do not go by that. And the only people who should oversee that are the regulatory bodies.
For clinical medicine is the Clinical Officers Council. For other courses, probably KMPDC should also be able to oversee that. That's why, to me, I will suggest that these regulatory bodies should have impromptu visits to these institutions to check for the facilities. Are there facilities that are able to offer these courses as it should be? Are the students meeting the criteria that ought to be going through? Because this is one of the major challenges that is making this aspect not being worked on clearly. Thank you.
No, thank you so much. That was so insightful, and you've given us where the gaps are. I'm thinking through quick fixes for this. If when you're applying for a course from the Kenya University's placement portal, you're able to see what universities are accredited to give that course, I think that would be a quick fix, right? So if it's, and then you don't have to worry about whether it's the Kenya Engineering Board, whether it's the nursing and dentist practitioners, all of those, that's not your business, right? Sure. It's just to see that, you know what, Kisii University is accredited to offer a degree in this and this and that, and that's all I need to know. I think that would be a quick fix, but thank you so much, and it's a really good point, and I think as we do host more education stakeholders, this is something to definitely bring to the fore.
A regulation aspect. I know we can also be thinking of the fixes around overcrowding, etc. But I'm wondering if it's a good time to bring in Eric to just speak very briefly and react to some of what. We'll still come back to the audience. Just want to give him a chance to weigh in on some of what's been said. But just as Mariam and I are saying, in as much as the questions are for him, the solutions could be here. So what does it look like if we're speaking to fees, if we're speaking to insecurity, if we're speaking to the accommodation? You probably know what works best. You can think about that and say, listen, this is what I think we should do. It's just not been done. Or we've tried to suggest it, it's not been done. So you can think through those recommendations as Eric answers some of them. I know some of them you'd answered, you'd spoken to around ECD and the ECD teachers pay, etc. But you can there's quite a number of questions that were asked to you.
Maybe just the question on whether diploma and degrees attract the same pay.
Thank you. I think the conversation is going on well. You also need to remember that I was in university up to 2015. So I didn't leave university long ago. When I looked at these young men and women, what they're talking about, they are speaking to the challenges we also faced. Myself, I was in Kenyatta University. Now, the first question was on PWDs. I want to inform the comrade that special needs education is not devolved from ECD to the highest level. It is not involved. So even the young babies who are able differently are not under county government. They are still under national government. So all special schools we have in Kisii, we don't even post teachers to ECD centers in in special needs institutions. You asked about capitation. That is there anything we can do to universities? The answer is no, because even in this financial year, we have been barred from giving bursaries to secondary schools and universities and colleges, because according to members of parliament, that is a national government function, and therefore we are not supposed to support. On payments, we have a scheme of service. A scheme of service that guides on how payment is done. So certificates, diploma and degree cannot be paid the same salary. So there are scales, there are job groups. Even me, I have a job group. Are you answered? Thank you. I think I have responded to the questions. There was an issue of roads around the university. I think there is an active conversation. I don't want to talk about it now. The student leaders, we are in a conversation. There is a plan that you agreed on, and therefore I do not want to talk about it here until I check where that progress has reached, because I attended the meeting where the university, a student council, visited the county, and we had a conversation with the leadership from the county. We agreed on a number of things, including the street lights that somebody asked about, including the roads around here, and therefore that is something that we'll be able to follow up.
there was one or two others. So in the meantime, because some things can't wait, if the roads are not, there's no stopgap measure because insecurity can't wait, how can you kind of
actually, when we had this conversation, we had a conversation towards the end of our financial year, and really anything we do, we have to put it on budget, and therefore we agreed that we were going to capture many of these issues in this budget.
Issue of accommodation has come up a few times.
Accommodation, I may not talk into it so much because now when you talk of CS Machogu, now we are talking of Ogamba. That is a promise that was given by national government. But then I have picked those that I will discuss with the Vice Chancellor and I will discuss with Migos Ogamba in private as they have come up from this end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like we said, it's a collaborative effort. So now I want to get the fixes from you, and that includes all our stakeholders here. Let's start with the issue of accommodation. And I see the hands up, and I'll be getting to you just now. I also wanted to hear from those in business whether you do think it's a commercially viable opportunity to provide student housing within Kisii, because there's clearly a large population here that needs decent, affordable housing. Would it make sense from an investment perspective? And then let's hear the fixes from the students as well for some of those issues. Let's get a mic to, let's start with Steve.
On housing, I don't think I can talk much about it. But what I do realize is there's a bit of a gap between what's happening from a vocational aspect of it, the universities, and some assistance that we may need from the county. As business, what we've done is, with what we're doing in value addition, there are skill sets that we require. And we find that what we do get from the current training that is there are gaps that are there with the new skills that we require. So a conversation needs to happen between the TVETs, the universities, the county, and ourselves as business to try and align what is being taught and what skill sets are being upskilled that aligns with the job opportunities that we have. And I think we can then absorb them into our business. Yeah.
Thank you so much. We've had a few of those conversations around what gaps exist, but TVETs and vocational institutions do seem to be plugging that gap. So maybe it's now the universities that need to close the gap a little bit. But let's hear from the fixes for students from students.
Good morning. My name is Callistus. Before we talk about any fix, I have a question directed to you, Mr. Eric. The issue of water and sanitation, I think it is a devolved function of the Kisii County government, right? Water and sanitation. So, according to the places that we live around here, Kisii campus, we find that there is poor management of waste. Like, waste are being thrown anyhowly. Like, we don't have an organized way of managing waste. We find even that waste are being even dumped to the rivers around. So my question is, to you actually, my question is, what's your plan on waste management, especially around here, Kisii University? Thank you.
Thank you again. It's Waziri, and I have some fixed. So when it comes to accommodation, my party and the governor of Kisii is my deputy party leader in the ODM party. And we in the ODM, we are now in the broad-based government. We are now in the broad-based government. Can Simba negotiate using the broad-based mechanisms to have the president build affordable houses here for comrades? That will help us, and we will think of supporting the broad-based government. Again, when it comes to public participation, Mr. Waziri, we share, it's just that I don't have a portfolio, but I'm a Waziri also. So
you will have, my brother.
Yeah. So when it comes to public participation, the issue is not even information reaching the grassroots. The issue is politics of demigods. Because when we are in Kisii, whatever Simba says is law. when in the national government, whatever Mr. William Ruto, the president, will say is law. The only public participation that took into account the words of the common citizens is the impeachment of the former deputy president, which I took part. I went to the ATC and signed the form to impeach him. That one, I can say confidently that it was taken into account. But for the others, the NGCDF Act never taken into account. This is because of the politics of demigod. Public participation is already premeditated. People have already decided. So it's being done as a formality. Let's stop politics of psychophancy. Let people decide. Let the MCAs come. Let them not fear Governor Simba. Let them come and listen to the grassroots. Let the MPs not fear the president. We elected them. They are representatives of the people, not of the president. We saw yesterday the MP for Kisumu East, Shakil Chabil, during an interview with TV47, he said that there is bribery. And the president is here at the Devolution conference saying that parliament is a crime scene because of bribes. Who is giving out the bribes? Who is giving out the bribes? Because parliament is not only seen to be the extended arm of the executive. It is an extended arm of the executive. The problem bedeviling Kenyans is not the president, it's parliament. Parliament is an institution that has failed its citizens because parliament has failed to come up to task to work for the citizens. It has run away from its roles, that is oversight, legislation, and they're coming to implement fighting for CDF. And Waziri, you have to agree with me that it is parliament that is stagnating devolved units. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
A lot of thoughts there. On the issue of water and sanitation, so I don't know if Waziri agrees that it's Parliament that has stagnated devolution. You can tell us yes or no. On the issue of water and sanitation, you're saying, you know what, we're part of broad-based government now. Should, Governor Arati also be agitating for our issues? But in the same breath, you're saying let's not do, psychophancy and things like that. So those two, to me, are at loggerheads, right? Just hold the thought. We'll have him respond, and then perhaps we can interrogate, do we have to be part of broad-based to agitate for water and sanitation when, one, it's a devolved function, and two, we've said we should be moving away from that kind of siasa. But let's start with one. Do you feel that Parliament is on that stagnating devolution? And then we'll get more fixes from this side because it's been very quiet.
Thank you. I do not want to be very political because I don't understand, as all of us don't understand whether there is broad-based or not. And therefore, I'll be very careful. I want to respond to waste management first, that one of us asked here, which plans do we have? There's a plant coming up at ATC in collaboration with SWED to solve the issue of waste management, not only in Kisii municipality, but in Kisii County at large. And when that will be in place, because the building is done, the machines have been brought, we will be having a plant that will be separating and recycling waste here at ATC, and the problem of waste will be solved once and for all. The issue of hostels, my brother, you've still insisted that there is an issue. I responded, whether we are in broad-based or not. I am going to talk to Ogamba and the Vice Chancellor at our capacity on this issue. And as it has been alluded, we do not need to be in broad-based for us to be given the services. If hostels are being built in Kenyatta University, Nairobi University of Nairobi, they also need to be built in Kisii University. So that is a right. And therefore, that this is a discussion I think I will need to pick with your Vice Chancellor, and then we will get a solution.
Okay.
I feel you. I know what you're feeling. I know what it is when there are not enough hostels in a university. Yeah.
And even being forced to share just because you're not able to pay. Okay. It's good that you're making these commitments so we can come back and find out how the conversations have progressed.
I will escalate them. It is, I'm attending this show on behalf of His Excellency the Governor of Kisii. Honorable Simbarati, and therefore, any commitment I make, I'll have to have a discussion with him on what came up in the discussion and which requests you made, such that he can escalate even to the president as you have asked it.
Okay. We're still looking into fixes from the room, and I know we said that we'll be moving to this side. Anything that's come up that you feel there's a solution for? I know he talked about some of the issues with regards to mental health as a result of some of the courses. You spoke to that. Anything else? You want to share one? Okay, we can get the mic. Okay.
As I said earlier, my name is Emmanuel Juma. I'm a student here. So talking about hostels, accommodation, I heard Miriam talking about investment. So I'm sure there are citizens who want to invest.
Please put your microphone closer.
Okay.
Thank you.
So for those who had a chance to sit in a business class, you understand that when the demand is high and the supply is low, that makes the cost to be high. But when the supply is high and the demand is low, that reduces the cost. So if Mr. Eric can persuade some of his friends who are financially fit to come in Kisii and build more hostels, I'm sure for people like me coming from a rural area will be able to pay accommodation at 2,000, at 1,000. That's if people are willing to invest around.
Okay.
Then speaking on the matters concerning roads, Mr. Eric said that the county is working on buying some trucks and whatever. We all know that the maintenance of Maram Road and Tarmac Road is totally different. If we have an all-weather road, a Tarmac Road, all-weather, whereby you say that in Kisii it rains 10 months a year. So hatuwezi kuwa na Maram Road when we understand that it rains 10 months a year. Why? The maintenance will be high. The maintenance cost will be high. But if we have Tarmac Road, the maintenance will be low. And the government or the county level can save more money. And that does not apply only in Kisii County, but it applies for all counties. Why should we have Maram roads when we can build Tarmac roads that can last long? If we have a Tarmac road here in Kisumu, that problem will be over. There's no student who will stand here in 2028 speaking about roads. But if we still are going to construct Maram roads, I'm sure in 5 months to come, if you are to come here, I'll be the first student to stand and tell you have a problem of roads in Kisumu.
Thank you, Emmanuel. Thank you. I want to get a few more fixes around here. Okay, there we go. We've got 2 more, 3 more. And as the mic moves to them, Eric, perhaps you could speak to the business environment, because you were speaking to that attracting investment, people coming in, getting more accommodation on the ground. Because, yeah, it doesn't have to be national government. It could be private investors. So, yeah, how do we attract investment of that sort into Kisii? And what are the things that the county government is doing to make the business environment easier, such that if I'm coming to set up a hostel, I don't have to struggle too much?
Yeah, thank you. Let me now talk as a Kisii, as a citizen, not from my position. Land in Kisii is scarce and very expensive. And therefore, I think that is what is making many people to shy from investing within. The few who have the money are the ones maybe who are coming up with hostels. But as we have said, having private investors having hostels out of the university may not entirely be the solution. Because Kisii University, as I know, it has very big land. It is not land that they are lacking to build their own hostels. It is resources they are not having to build their own hostels. I remember in my time in university, there was a hostel you would pay up to 1,500 per semester. The prefabs, for those people who know KU. and the highest you could pay is around 3,500 per semester. But these gentlemen here, if they are in a hostel, a private investor out here, a hostel, you are paying around 25,000, 30,000 per semester. So even if they invested, the problem will still be the same, that these comrades will have to pay more to stay there. So the only solution that is there is to have interventions, to have hostels within the university, and very few who choose to be out there because maybe they have the money, they can go out there.
All right.
Yeah.
I like that fix. Thank you so much. And like you said, you'll escalate it onwards with the Chancellor, with education. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Let's get a few more fixes. I'd seen 2 hands up over there. Yes, we've talked about the problems. How do we fix them? Yes, the gentleman in the hoodie and the guy next to him. Oh, yeah, we can start with you. Yes,
thank you. My name is Wycliffe Fugola. My question is, one, which collaborations do you have with the private investors which allows them to invest around Kisii University to increase more hostels to solve this problem? And two, which laws do you have which can allow these investors operate outside here freely so that we can have more hostels in the end product? Thank you.
Thank you. That one I can answer straight. You do not need to have a collaboration with the county to buy land and come up with hostels here. You only come in, you get a piece of land, you build a hostel, and very many investors who have private hostels here are not Kisiis. Like some of us, again, have invested elsewhere without necessarily being residents of that place. So Kisii is a free place. Any investor who comes in is always welcome.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Let's get fixes from the 2 gentlemen at the front.
Thank you for the chance. I'm called Were Jack, student leader at Kisii University. Under the maximum of equity, we have got a point that says he who comes to equity must come with clean hands. So in matters dealing with roads, we as the student leaders, we've always tabled them to the county government, and I believe the county government is working. The main gate, Kisumundogo Road, I think they have tried, and moving forward, I think they're going to do it better. The faulty lights, I think the county government engaged with the student leaders, and they have worked on some, and they are still continuing to work on the rest. So the issues pertaining to accommodation, that is where now the problem is. The landlords have become tough-headed, and they do not want to listen to the comrades. But our role as the student leaders, our role is to table the interests of the comrades. So as the county government, one of the things that you can do in order to fix the rent rates for the comrades, you can develop a student housing policy. This student housing policy should create it should create a specific framework for off-campus housing standards that has got pricing guidelines. Then secondly, you should set rental control guidelines. You should introduce maximum allowable rent for student accommodation in these designated student zones. I think those are one of the fixes that you should implement, so as to give the student, or rather the comrades, ample time of accommodation. Thank you.
Thank you. You had raised your hand, and I'm also eager to hear. Yeah. What was that, Mariam?
Just one last fix before we transition into something else. Sorry, which hand had gone up?
It was the lady. Oh, but there's already.
Okay, so
you already have the mic.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Namakoya Phyllis, a third-year student pursuing bachelor's degree in education. I want to liaise with the former speakers by saying that this devolution has not worked. Why am I saying so? This is because those in the government are trying to rekindle people's hopes in regards to education, and at the same time, they are killing people's learners' dreams. I have an evidence, and I can attest. I've been in attachment, and I've witnessed a lot. You are teaching in a class,
but students are not writing. When you ask why are you not writing, that some of them are giving you excuses that I have no exercise book. My exercise book is full. And my question goes to the government. In previous years, and even during my time, I used to renew my book. Whenever it's full, I go to the library, renew it, and go back to class. But nowadays, parents are given that burden of buying exercise book for students. And yet some of the parents cannot even afford 70 bob to buy an exercise book. And maybe what I can tell the government through CC here, how to fix this problem. Maybe you just sit, go back to the former state that these people used to do. I think it will work because people used to learn, they used to go to university, and they used to get jobs. And you can't tell us that today there are no jobs, or the people are not going to school, or there are no exercise books because of the economy. This economy has been there for over many years. Right. And you can't tell us that it is the economy. People have been crying about this economy for so many years, but things used to work out.
Right.
So it's better you just sit, come up with a solution. Maybe you go back where I've said.
Thank you.
And maybe let me say this, the big fish, just to stop what? To do justice, to avoid this thing called corruption.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think I'll still emphasize that some of the questions may not be for Eric, because again, some of these are national government issues. But Jano, I know you wanted to pivot a little to something else.
Just a little. First of all, it's been very insightful to hear that the issues are so common across the board. And we've heard from a lot of voices. I'm curious, just for the sake of getting a unique perspective, if there are any issues that perhaps affect some of the female students differently from male students, if at all any, or anything, because once we're talking about everything affects all students: housing, insecurity, water and sanitation, roads, that affects everyone. But now, is there something unique to female students that you want to speak to and have a fix for? Any of them here? No? As you think about it, I think you in the white shirt had wanted to contribute to a... Please go ahead.
You can pass the microphone.
Okay, thank you. Mine is a request to Eric, as he's going to have the conversation with the Vice Chancellor. Ningeomba, here in the university, we have AIDS control unit, but there is testing, but we don't have professional counselors for that. So I would just like to request you, umwongeleshe, I improve that sector. Plus, this previous semester, there was a short of condoms. I generally angalia that section, because we know now we are in Kisii, and Kisii is one of the leading counties in Ikona. Most people infected. You guys, this is a serious conversation.
No, yes, go ahead. Shortage of condoms on campus, or where?
Yes.
Okay.
So I worked there, and so I got to know this. So if you are going to speak to the Vice Chancellor, please, I improve that section. Thank you.
Sorry, you said there's testing, but something isn't available? Counselors?
Yes.
Okay.
They are not there. We don't have professional counselors there.
All right. All right. Thank you.
Okay.
And you worked where?
I am a student.
At the department. All right. Thank you so much. Who wanted
Did
to
you say
respond to
shortage
that?
of condoms in campus? Okay.
All right. All right. That gentleman hasn't spoken over there.
They don't know. Thank you for that. Yeah.
Thank you so much. My name is Josephat Mumanyi Mobagi. I am an aspiring senator, Kisii County, 2027. I want to say that if there is something good that happened to Kenya, it's the act of devolution. If devolution was taken as it should be, we could be one of the most progressive countries in the world. Because elsewhere, devolution has worked, and we have seen many fruits coming out of the devolution. But because of our laxity from the national government and our MPs and other bodies which are supposed to effect this devolution, we see there is laxity and it is not so effective as it should. I have been to several countries where I have seen devolution work. I have been in Norway as a student exchange program. I have been to South Korea and I have been to Philippines. I have seen that devolution, if people are dedicated to implementing it to the rata, it can work. Now, I want to specifically speak about insecurity. Insecurity in our institutions. Security begins with you as an individual. So it is a corporate responsibility for each and every one of us on campus to ensure security. But still, I want to say that where the students are living, we should have something like vigilance. You become secure to your brother and sister. We don't leave it to the government only. We make it our own. We own our security through community policing. And also, I would urge the national government also to put in place a patrol pace around the campus where students are living, so that to ensure their security. I will also tackle this issue of the ladies. The ladies have a unique need rather than the male students. Like now, the sanitary pads, they never talked about it. You know, sanitary pads can make a student lose a class or miss a class. If we could get our ladies with sanitary pads, I think it would be good to go.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I know we have about a minute.
Incoming Senator.
Thank you, Josephat. We have a minute left. Thank you.
Thank you, Josephat.
Speaking to condoms and pads and just making sure that the students have resources available on campus.
Thank you once again. I have listened to that concern on the issue of counselors, on the issue of I don't know whether these condoms are provided and they are used very fast or they have never been provided. But you have said that more supply to be made. It's not a joke. In many universities, they are there. So it's a concern that I've picked. I will escalate it to the Vice Chancellor. Maybe as comrades, you may not be able to tell him to his face that you need those condoms. Yeah.
And access to menstrual pads,
Yeah.
Because it also speaks to the triple threat and a lot of other key issues. So menstrual products and condoms.
Yeah.
It would be great to get feedback on that. It seems we are completely out of time, unfortunately. We want to thank the students of Kisii University for just raising your voices and speaking your truth. Thank you as well to the CCM for education and vocational training. Eric Ogeri, thank you very much for being with us. And we hope this is a conversation we can continue. And we hope that once he's able to escalate these matters, not just to the Vice Chancellor, but also to the Governor of Kisii County, we can come back here in a few months or a year and you can say, okay, now devolution is working. Now we feel like public participation is working. But from us here at the Fixing the Nation team, Mariam Bishar, Janet Bogwa, thank you very much. Kesho, we are still somewhere else. Just follow us. We're threading this region. So we'll be back even as the devolution conference continues in Homa Bay County. Have a good one.
Thank you.